Getting punched in the face in army was the best thing that happened to me. Maybe this is a very punchable face. I won't disagree. So when I saw this army story come up again about me online, I knew where it came from. In the unit I was from, the Naval Diving Unit, NDU was a really small unit. We generally start off with about 100 people in the unit, then only about 50 make it through to Hell Week. In the section I was in charge of, there were only about 8 people. And I know about 3 of these guys were just generally negative individuals. If I scope it down further to who I think would still be free enough, resentful, and negative all these years, I've got a pretty good idea on who it is. I didn't want to really talk about this story, but you have to understand, this false story has been going on for years and years and years. This same guy has also added stuff regarding my personal life which were false, harassing my friends and family, partners, made fake social media accounts of me, and multiple burner accounts to spread malicious rumors. To the extent it becomes, frankly, obsessive. Hence, finally after 12 years since army, I decided I'll do something about it. But what? I could make a video and let the hater get some satisfaction from knowing he got to me. Or I could do better and work on myself. I thought, why not do both? I'm all for this cause, and I also know I haven't carried myself in the best way when I was younger. I used to like to rage bait or engagement farm. Generally, you have to understand that as a content creator, engagement is never really a bad thing. In the last few years, I largely disappeared because I was trying to work on myself. I'm not even a big internet personality, but it was very interesting to hear all these things said about me. So, this is a story of how I got punched in the face. And I'll only tell this story once. So back then, right, during this period, there was increasing tension due to a few negative individuals. I got enlisted in March 2015. And around July 2016, I was trying to break up a commotion. If I recall correctly, I was in charge then of a platoon trying to clear logs or equipment so we could book out. There were 2 people arguing, and I said something like, "Don't blame each other," trying to diffuse the tension so we could get work done and book out. Then one of the guys came out of nowhere and sucker punched me. For reasons I won't disclose, because to be fair, the guy that punched me already apologized to me and we're cool. We even worked out after. I won't get into too many personal reasons on his motives, but clearly one of his friends in army doesn't really know the full story back then and is still making stuff up about it now. As far as I know, basically everyone has moved on. The guy is not even with the girl anymore. I'm not even sure if these 2 guys are still even close friends, because he messaged me 4 years later telling me he had no control over what this guy is doing. But all I know is the guy writing the stuff over the last decade, I guess, is really free. To keep things short, this altercation really just had something to do with his girlfriend at the time, and he wanted to book out early to see her. There were also some personal misunderstandings between us that this friend was not privy to, which we had signed off by our officer commanding at that time. His girlfriend later also told me not to press charges. So the fact that this friend that is spreading rumors claims the army let him off easily is not true, because I remember having to sign off saying I was gonna let him off and not press any charges. I thought being the bigger person back then would be doing the right thing. To be honest, I can see why this guy spreading the rumors could have disliked me. I was younger, immature, and probably obnoxious. Additionally, I wouldn't say I earned the rank I was given. I just happened to be very fit in army, and I don't claim to have any leadership skills back then. I was also perpetually tired. It may sometimes look like I'm dozing off, but the truth is I was secretly retaking my A-levels, and I did this twice during army. I remember sneaking off to empty laundry rooms at night, alone, studying because I was embarrassed that I had failed the second time. I didn't want anyone to look down on me, and I knew that these same negative individuals in the unit would also have been toxic if they knew I was struggling. So I just kept my head down and did what I had to do. So in reality, I didn't have any jaw surgery, I didn't get out of course, I didn't leave the unit because I got punched. I left really because I wanted to punch above the glass ceiling I had set for myself. The truth is, back in January 2016, I had already prepared to take my A-levels that same year again. So I took it in 2015 as well, but I knew that the examination dates in 2016 would clash with our final mission. And it was something I talked about with the commanding officer at that time privately a lot. So I declared my injury long before any of these incidents because I knew I was struggling to manage my military requirements and studies. And I knew I had to do something if I wanted to do what I want in life. So I finished the course. In fact, I was inside the unit up until only the final mission in December, which was right before we ORD. If you're not from Singapore, that's when you're operationally ready to leave the conscription. So because I actually broke my wrist and shoulder right before army, this was re-aggravated during training. And I used this as a reason to declare an excuse from diving. And in the naval diving unit, you technically had to dive. So they shifted me to another combat unit. Was this the right thing or wrong thing to do? I don't know. Sure, physically I could push through, but logically to me, I had no other choice. I had to think for my health and my future. In the end, I left to spend the last 3 months in this new unit before I left the service and ORD. I made a lot of nice friends there. I didn't have to do that final mission, and that also gave me the time to retake my A-levels a second time. And that's what also finally got me accepted into all 3 top business schools in Singapore, NUS, NTU, and SMU. So why does this guy still comment now after all these years? I don't know. I've never met the guy since I left. But the more he spreads misinformation over the years, the more I felt I needed to defend myself or prove myself. I wanted to let him know that his comments didn't get to me. That's also where a lot of my defensive and compensatory behavior came about online, maybe in my earlier years, which took many years to correct. But that's also my major gripe with a lot of these subreddits or anonymous forums where people can hide under the guise of anonymity. It's really easy to spread misinformation online, and people believe the first thing they see. If you're who I think you are and still watching this video, I'd apologize for how I behaved when I was 18. I haven't met you for over a decade now. I did a lot of growing, I did a lot of learning. I grew up. I hope you do too. In any case, I hope this video already clears it up, but just in case, I also had to finally take some legal measures. And I'll try again to be the bigger person this time.